The galaxy was vast and full of strange alliances, but none more unexpected than the one forged between Tezara, a leopard-like alien warrior from the planet Kailaria, and Max, a 16-year-old human boy from Earth. The encounter. Max's life had always been ordinary until the alien war. It started with a rift in the sky above his small town, a shimmering tear through which alien ships poured like a storm. The invaders weren't the sleek, humanoid beings he'd seen in movies. They were feral, cat-like warriors with spotted fur and glowing amber eyes. The people of Earth called them leopards of the void. Max was scavenging for supplies in the ruins of his high school when he first met Tezara. She was wounded, her sleek black armor scorched and her tail dragging in the dirt. Max froze when her glowing eyes locked onto his, expecting her to attack. But instead of violence, she collapsed, muttering something in her language. Against all logic, he decided to help her. Using what little medical supplies he had scavenged, Max tended to her wounds. When she awoke, her gaze was softer, almost curious. She tilted her head and studied him. "You saved me," she said in heavily accented English, her voice low and melodic. "Why?" Max shrugged. "You didn't look like you were going to hurt me." Tezara chuckled, a strange purring sound. "Perhaps humans are not as weak as we thought." The Pact. Tezara was part of a rebel faction among the Kailarians, opposing the war her people waged against Earth. She revealed that her kind valued strength, loyalty, and cunning above all else. By saving her, Max had unwittingly passed a sacred test of character in Kailarian culture. "Your world is harsh," Tezara explained, "but you are resourceful. You remind me of a cub." "A cub?" Max asked, raising an eyebrow. "Yes," she said with a toothy grin, her fangs glinting. "And I have decided you will be mine." Max stared at her, utterly confused. "Wait, what?" "In Kailarian terms, I adopt you as my cub. You will learn from me, and I will protect you." Survival lessons. Life with Tezara was nothing like Max had imagined. She was both a mentor and a fierce protector, teaching him survival skills that humans have long forgotten. She trained him to navigate by the stars, track prey, and even fight using alien techniques. "Never rely on brute strength alone," she said one evening, her tail flicking as she watched him struggle to counter her in sparring. "Strategy wins wars, not muscles." Max learned quickly, surprising even himself. Over time, their bond grew deeper. Tezara came to see him as more than a cub. He was a warrior in his own right. Max, in turn, saw her as more than an alien. She was family. The resistance. Tezara's rebel faction needed allies, and Max became their secret weapon. Using his human ingenuity and her combat skills, they infiltrated Kailarian ships and sabotaged supply lines. Word of the human cub spread among the rebels, earning Max respect and admiration. But the war wasn't without sacrifice. Tezara was forced to confront her former comrades, including her own brother, who remained loyal to the Kailarian Empire. The confrontation was brutal, but it solidified her and Max's resolve to end the war. A new future. When the rebellion succeeded, the Kailarian Empire was forced to retreat from Earth. Tezara and Max stood together as representatives of their people, negotiating a fragile peace. "You are no longer my cub," Tezara said, placing a clawed hand on Max's shoulder. "You are my equal." Max smiled. "And you're not just my protector anymore. You're my family." Epilogue. Years later, Max became the first human ambassador to Kailaria, bridging the gap between two vastly different species. Tezara, now a revered elder among her people, watched with pride as her cub brought unity to the galaxy. Nobody ever imagined that the female leopard alien would adopt a 16-year-old human to be her son, let alone that their bond would change the fate of worlds. But in a galaxy of endless possibilities, sometimes the most unlikely alliances are the strongest.